My name is Shazanah binti Abdul Wahab, and my group members are Mr. Nuur Mohamad Firdaus bin Mohamad Rasidi and Ms. Nurnadhirah Mohamad Zaki. Our group came out with a literature review study on the influence of knowledge management, knowledge workers, and Industrial Revolution 4.0 towards the competitiveness in the rubber-based industries. Our presentation today will cover on the abstract and introduction, issues, research purpose, research significance, literature review, and finally discussion and conclusion. The study is on article review related to knowledge management practices, knowledge workers contribution, Industrial Revolution 4.0 adaptation toward Malaysian firms' competitiveness in the rubber-based industry. The objective of this study is to focus on analysing the issue, conceptual theory, and propose the framework related to competitiveness through the literature review. As a result, we hope that this study may provide information on how firms can achieve competitiveness by implementing change management related to knowledge management, upskilling the knowledge workers, and adopting Industrial 4.0 concept in manufacturing operations. Okay, next move to introduction. Okay, as we know that the demand for rubber gloves globally continued to increase throughout the COVID-19 outbreak, meaning that the rubber industry is in critical need of knowledge workers to support the manufacturing activities. The main COVID-19 impact on the rubber-based industry for the past recent years, there was a shortage of knowledge workers in the local labour market and government restriction and control on manufacturing production capacity. Vacancies in the organisation could not be backfilled immediately, although many people were laid off during the pandemic, especially in the services and tourism sectors. However, these unemployed are unable to fill up the vacancies at the rubber-based industry. This is due to rubber-based industry required workforce with specialized skill. Therefore, those employees must be able to apply knowledge management and have knowledge in handling machines and equipment. Knowledge management practices, knowledge workers' contribution, and adaptation of Industrial Revolution 4.0 on innovation competitiveness in the rubber-based industry are essential to remain competitive and relevant in the global market. That's all on the introduction. Now, let's hear from Ms. Nurnadhirah on issues.
Thank you, Shazanah. For issues, there are two types of competitions, which is global competitions and national competitions. In global competitions, there are three types of countries that are highly producer in natural rubber, which is Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Because of COVID-19's conflicts, there are global demands in the rubber glove industry and cause the competitions in a labor and cost rise. All right, next. Okay, these are issues in a global competition, which is in graph. You can see there are leading company, which is Thailand, shows in this graph show the trends. Leading countries, which is first are Thailand, and following country Indonesia, and in 2019 and 2020, their competition natural rubber exports is the challenge to the producers country becoming leading in the worldwide. Whereas in other side of this graph shows global medical glove market by regions 2020 to 2027 predict that natural rubber in the USD millions. The demand for the latex, vinyl, and nitrile and others in medical glove and PPE is a part in the COVID-19 prevention healthcare is a very demanding and very important nowadays. Next. Okay, in national competitions, there are issues whereby in Malaysia gains about 65% global supply during pandemic, and right now there are high impact which is Kedah Rubber City KRC have project in Padang Terap, which is a very potential and we increase the global demand because of natural rubbers and the importance of issues COVID-19 because of the strategic place locations. So we enclose with the border of Thailand. So there are developing Indonesian, Malaysians, Thailand, Cross Triangle, INDT, GT regions. Next. Okay, about the research purpose, this research intention is to study and investigate the competitiveness of the rubber industry in Malaysia. In this research, the researcher to determine whether there is a significant relationship between first, knowledge management practices toward competitiveness in the rubber industry in Malaysia. Second, knowledge worker contribution toward competitiveness in the rubber industry in Malaysia. Third, Industrial Revolution 4.0 adoption toward competitiveness in the rubber industry in Malaysia. Hope this study will help others scholars with some area of interest in this title. Next, I will pass to the Mr. Firdaus to elaborate about significance of the research.
Thank you, Ms. Dira. So, why is our study is significant? So, we are actually developing the conceptual paper to study the implication of the manufacturing industry competitiveness. So our focus will be on the rubber-based industry. So our IV is knowledge management, knowledge worker, and also industrial revolution 4.0, while our DV is the competitiveness. So we were looking into the study in Malaysia because Malaysia is one of the top producer globally. So we hope that this study will be relevant to industry player and also other manufacturing industry to copy, so that all of the industry can be competitive. Okay, so next on the literature review. So we started off with the search process. So first, we are doing a funneling concept whereby we identified the keyword KM, KW, Industry 4.0 and manufacturing and competitiveness. So we search all the article in the Google, normal Google, Google Scholar and Scopus, and also we are using Publish and Paris software. So initially we have 975 and then we limit down to 115 after we limit the research from 2016 until 2021 so that we have the relevant info, and finally we settle down into the 58. So when we settle down into 58, we actually reviewing the abstract so that we those shortlisted articles are relevant to our study. For the search process, this is the final result that we have for the total knowledge management 23rd, KW 14 and IR 4.0 is 21. So next, hand over back to you, Ms. Dira.
Okay, about literature review in knowledge management, from Bahar Bahri, there are 8 categories which is share, store, apply, create, identify, acquire, assess and evaluate. While Mohamad, there are 6 categories which is identifying, acquiring, creating, sharing, using, storing the knowledge. Next. Okay, for example, by Othman et al. 2019, there are examples in Toyota Motor, which is they are highly demanding and rising globally productions because of their technology and team sharing and positional leaderships as knowledge management as in delivering in their company. Whereas Microsoft Corporation also one of company that are very usage of knowledge management in their company and become a top company software developer globally. About this knowledge management, there are other review by other researcher. One of them is intellectual capital is an intangible asset owned by business entities, including information, knowledge that must be managed properly to supply competitiveness advantage by R&D Secretary 2020. Other researcher also said that knowledge management is very important, especially for data sharing to increase the knowledge management, to increase leaderships and ensures that companies are best practice using the knowledge management and influence the competitiveness. Next, I will pass to Shazanah to deliver about knowledge worker and competitiveness.
Thank you, Dira. Okay, for knowledge workers, one of the popular theories is the human capital theory by Schultz 1960, which emphasizes on the importance of education to increase productivity. Okay, as per in the diagram, you can see that investment which is put in education could help companies to increase productivity as well as benefit the employees. Next. Okay, in addition to that, previous studies also summarize that knowledge workers are individuals who have a high degree of competence, education, and experience, as well as the capacity to develop, share, and use of knowledge accordingly. The labor deficit issue must be addressed by hiring additional people to cope with the development of production line to boost productivity. And also, the glove manufacturing business is a labor-intensive industry. Adequate human resources are required to conduct production and complete the operation process. Therefore, we can conclude that there is a positive influence of knowledge workers' contribution on the competitiveness in the rubber-based industry. Okay, we have here about knowledge management and knowledge workers. Now let's listen to Industry 4.0.
All right, thank you, Ms. Shazanah. Last independent variable is the Industrial Revolution 4.0. So, Industrial Revolution 4.0 is industrial manufacturing by aspect of controlling, organizing, transforming the entire product cycle that result higher productivity via effective integration of from end-to-end engineering. So, this is from Shu Tae. So, as you can see from right-hand side, you can see the characteristic for the Industry 4.0, whereby which is the first one is a big data, simulation, Internet of Services, augmented reality, cyber physical system, additive manufacturing, Internet of Things or IoT, and cloud computing, and autonomous robot. And another term that is similar to the Industrial Revolution 4.0 is a smart factory, whereby the smart factory will also give us access to the company by the year 2015. The current challenges that we see is in terms of shorter product cycle, highly customized product, and also stiff competition. It makes the smart factory and IR 4.0 highly sought after in the manufacturing industry for its competitiveness. On top of that, when we have a technology, we also need to have a good people, as per mentioned earlier, whereby company the worker must have a specialized training to adapt with the technology, so that they can have the up-to-date technology capability, and they are actually gaining the knowledge via the proper knowledge management, which is workshop, seminar, and others. So this is studied by the Mohd and also Comms. So another important role is the knowledge worker play important role for the smart manufacturing and IR 4.0 by Angola 2018. To relate on the technology, the theory for technology is the theory of business by Peter Drucker in 1994. There are one assumption, which is the environment, which refer to society, structure, market, and also customer, and also technology. So from here we can see that technology is one of the critical item for the competitiveness for the business. So and therefore we can see our final proposition is there are positive influence of IR 4.0 contribution on competitiveness that we will look into the rubber industry. So that's all for our IB. So let's hear from Ms. Shazanah. Please wrap up and close this discussion.
All right. Based on studies, there is a positive influence of knowledge management practice, knowledge workers' contribution, and adaptation of Industry 4.0 on innovation competitiveness in the manufacturing industry across many firms and countries. Many notable firms believe that the best way to develop knowledge throughout the company operation is to use knowledge management. Businesses must recruit the right skill talent to do the right job, and the right talent is the knowledge workers. And by allowing machine learning and AI produce the finest services, the fourth industrial revolution establishes comprehensive competitiveness strategies with the goal of optimizing product quality and operational efficiency. For that, thank you everyone for taking your time to be with us. Have a great day ahead, and please like and share our video. Thank you again.